Hello and welcome to round 12 of O&M Live Netball for McRae Motors. We are here for a 1v4 clash between the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos versus the Wang Magpies at John Ford Courts. My name's Hannah Davies and today I'm joined in commentary as always by Ree Dolahenty and Tamara Matthews. Ladies, what a game we have on our hands today.
Isn't it exciting? 1v4, although these guys played out a really tight game in round 3, so I'm excited to see what today brings.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone, and how nice to be celebrating as well our inaugural Indigenous round for the Ovens and Murray Football Netball League.
Yes, and to begin today's broadcast, I'd just like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we broadcast from today, the Wiradjuri and Yorta Yorta people, and pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, and extend this respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. So as you just said, Ree, it is the inaugural Indigenous round, and so for this round, 5 clubs are going to be wearing Indigenous football jumpers and 8 of our netball teams will play in custom-made bibs designed by local Indigenous artist John Murray. Now today, I believe the Wang Magpies, the footballers have jerseys on, and the Roos were supposed to wear their beautiful Indigenous dresses, but unfortunately, maybe COVID shipping has striked again and they won't come in time.
Yes, unfortunately they're not going to make it. They were hoping that there may be a last-minute dash to Melbourne to be able to pick them up, but unfortunately I don't think that's come through. So I think they were going to explore the possibility of wearing them in another game this season.
Which will be lovely, and it's such a fitting, I guess, transition for the league as well. We see a lot of sports really highlighting the impact of Indigenous sports people and their elders past, present and emerging, and to filter that down into our local competitions is fantastic. And some of the designs are just beautiful. I mentioned to Hannah that Darren Whiten that designed the Lavington Panthers patches, he's actually a member of our staff with the Catholic Education Diocese of Wagga Wagga. So he comes around to the schools and teaches inclusivity to all of our students, teaches about culture, teaches about immersion, songs, through music, through story, through art, and he's just exceptional. He's currently doing a mural for our school. He's finished St Pat's, so looking forward to seeing that. But I know that, yeah, the likes of him and John Murray, someone like Dean Hedder as well, who obviously isn't playing at the Albury Tigers anymore, but they've been paramount in getting this up and running.
And you mentioned Dee Heddery, and it's thanks to him and John Murray that have made this round possible. They've been putting it in the works for the last few seasons, so it's just incredible to have it played out today. And if you haven't had a chance to look, at our socials across the league, make sure you do, because there are a range of different jumpers and bibs across the competition. Ree, you mentioned Bukindjan and Yorta Yorta man Hayden Murray, who designed North Albury, Wiradjuri man Darren Whiten, as you said, who designed Lavington's netball bibs, and Kijibati woman Camellia White, who designed Wang Rovers jumper, and Bangarang man Kevin Atkinson, who designed the Wang Magpies jumper. So just incredible artistry across the league. And like I said, get onto the socials, have a look, because there's just some really great stuff out there.
And the stories behind them as well, and how they've developed the concept and used the Aboriginal and Indigenous artwork to really frame that and put that through. I think it was Hayden Murray's with North Albury. There's handprints on there representative of the Indigenous players that have played there. So really fantastic. So yeah, jump on socials, have a look at each club, and it'll be so nice to see them running around today.
So ladies, let's take a look at the ladder for this round. It's been 11 weeks now, round 12, and Corowa-Rutherglen are yet to be bumped off the top.
Absolutely, they're sitting pretty comfortably 2 games clear, and it's hard to see them losing that spot, but I think today is the first test they are going to have had without Liv Sinclair, so I think today will be really interesting to see how they handle that and make that transition.
And also the opportunity for Wang Magpies to really show us what they have. We were probably a little bit disappointed with their performance against Yarrawonga. They were with them for kind of a quarter and a half and then just kind of fell away. They were missing Amy Byrne, who we've noticed is here today, and she and Georgia Clark are seeming to make a really nice combination in that circle. So I know we'll speak about the teams a little bit later, but it'll be interesting to see how they work. But I think the key to shutting down Corowa-Rutherglen is the ball going into Grace and Chloe Senior. The amount of shots they're putting up between them is phenomenal. So we speak avidly about their defensive end, but I think for a team to beat them, it's in that attacking end and stopping that ball getting down there. The other one to mention on the ladder today, North Albury v Albury, 5th 5th plays 6 and only half a game separates them.
Absolutely. This is really the play for 5th spot probably. There's other teams that certainly Raiders and Myrtleford haven't ruled themselves out in making a play for 5th spot, but I think, the ball really is in North Albury's court today. They get a win over Albury, they put themselves 6 points clear and just a little bit more margin between them and Albury. Probably have a similar, if not anything, slightly easier run home. So Albury, look, it's up to them. Their future lays in today's game, really.
And we've spoken about it before, and Albury have actually done this a couple of seasons. They leave it, and North as well, they leave it till the end of the season. I remember playing one season and Albury scraped into 5th and then came through and ended up in the prelim final. So they can do it, and North can do the same. And I think coming off the 1-goal loss to Myrtleford last week will be really, really putting some fire in the belly of North Albury. Someone like Em Brown is going to take that and run with it, and they will have used that at training this week. But Albury, coming off a loss to Corowa, there was lots of positives that they took out of that, particularly that the margin had decreased somewhat. And as Sky Hillier said to me, she said they won the second half, or were very close in the second half. It was a 4-goal 6 last quarter, which means that there was a lot of scrappy ball or ball going back and forwards and possibly not a lot of goals put up. So it will be really interesting, and I expect it to go right down to the wire. I think I tipped Albury by 2, but even if there's a draw, could be very interesting.
I picked North Albury by 1, so it will be interesting to see how it plays out. But I did get and see the last 2.5 quarters of that Albury Corowa game last week, and the momentum just never really switched. I'd come from the North Albury Myrtleford game where there was real peaks and troughs. The Albury Corowa game, it was very flat, and Corowa just never seemed to be able to put them away and run on with it. Albury just stayed with them and stayed with them. So I think today will be a really big challenge for Corowa.
And just one last thing while we're talking about the ladder, today is possibly the opportunity for Wodonga Bulldogs to notch their first win. They are sitting on the bottom of the ladder, but we've seen them really improve as the seasons progress. So playing against Raiders won't want to have a loss there at all, but the Bulldogs team, up and coming, bit of an unknown, could be a day for an upset and to get that 4 points for them.
Well, let's take a look at last week's results, ladies. So Lavington got a close win. Oh, sorry, not last week, last round, in round 11. I forget that it happened.
Round, it was a bit confusing.
So, of course, the 1-goal win for Myrtleford over North Albury. And then Corowa had quite the confident win over Albury, 51-35. But taking a look at the two teams you're watching right now, the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos have a little bit of a different lineup today, Ree.
Yeah, they've Tony Lynn, I nearly said Maggie Lynn, her sister. Tony Lynn seems to be unavailable, and obviously the last time we broadcast Corowa, they still had Liv Sinclair, who came across that unfortunate Achilles injury. So since then, they've re-recruited. Brooke Bice has come into the team, and Maddie O'Keefe, has swung up from B grade. So looking to the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos lineup today, coached by Georgie Bruce, they will start with Grace Senior at goal shooter, sister Chloe Senior in goal attack, Maddie O'Keefe in wing attack, Brooke Bice in centre, Emma Larissy, big shout out to her, 150 club games for Emily Larissy, which is a phenomenal achievement, and the girls will be looking to get her around her for that. And then in the defensive circle, we've got Sophie Hanrahan, goal defence, and Jen Barrett in goalkeeper. I think the key here will be that link centre wing attack into the senior sisters.
Absolutely, and last week Grace did swing out to goal attack, but predominantly she's starting in shooter, and then they make that change later if they're going to at all. But you're right, I think she had such a strong connection with Liv Sinclair, so the pressure is on breaking down the connection between the new centre and wing attack, pressuring that and forcing Chloe back into the circle, so there's a 2-on-2. Grace is deadly and almost unstoppable if she has the circle to herself and has space to move into. So to give Katie Dean and Hannah any opportunity, the pressure needs to happen outside, and we know those two, their strength is the way they work together. They're just, it's just so almost fluent to watch. So I think that's where they can stop it. But Wang Magpies, they'll be starting with Katie Dean in keeper and Hannah Grady in goal defence. Like I said, that really strong defensive combination. Leah Genvy back into wing defence, and she's really starting to hit her stride. Izzy Byrne in centre and Shay Crimmins in wing attack, a familiar combination there. Amy Byrne into goal attack. So as we said, she was missing a few weeks ago, but the games where she's playing, it seems to be where they're playing their best netball. And Georgia Clark in shooter, who is flying at the moment, sitting on top of the hot shots, and I think with a percentage of about 80%. So I'm interested to see what she brings today.
Yeah, really, really happy with that. And probably when we did broadcast Wang Magpies last, we said that Izzy Byrne had very much a quiet game from her. It seemed like that battle with Laura Irvine, she was probably, on the other side. So she'll be looking to really pick that up and find that transition speed and to really shut down Brooke Bice. Again, they will match up really well in height and in what they bring to the court. So I expect it to be quite fast down the court. I think the crucial role here will be Leah Genvy as that link in wing defence. She will need to really pressure the centre pass to force a turnover and then get her hands over to pressure the feed into the ball. Because as you said, someone like Grace Senior is going to put the ball up from anywhere. And we've spoken before, if there was a Suncorp Super Netball 2 shot here, Grace Senior would probably be notching those up as well.
Yeah, and she's so comfortable going back. So forcing her forward is something that she's not as comfortable with. I think Hannah and Katie can tend to play off the body, and that might confuse the space a little bit for Grace too. So they need to be keeping that work rate really high and making Grace think about where they are as opposed to setting up on them. As you said, the matchup between Izzy and Brooke, very similar in that they both love to step on and play the ball really fast. So I'm expecting to see probably a bit of contact there between those two, but all in the spirit of the game. But I think it'll be a great battle. A couple of interesting facts. Last time, Corowa have won 41 of their last 44 games. The 3 losses have all come to Wang Magpies. So
that's a
little
stat there.
interesting stat
Thanks,
there.
Gus.
I did have a look at the last time these two played, and Corowa had something like 20 more attempts at goal, yet there was only 4 goals in it. So, they're getting a lot of the ball to their shooters, and that's where the change needs to happen for teams if they're going to beat them.
And I'm looking forward to seeing the combination between Georgia Clark and Amy Byrne on court, because I feel like Georgia Clark, when we did watch them last time, she was trying to do a bit of the leadership and couldn't seem to kind of fall into her own flow. But it seems like those games where Amy's been playing as well, that's really complemented. So we are close to kickoff. We can see here that Georgie Bruce is speaking some kind words about Emily Laracy, 150 games to her.
Yeah, and she started at the club at the young age of 13, playing in the 16s at 13 is just a great achievement. And she's been a Roo ever since. So she's even taken on coaching this season and is actually coaching the Roos C-grade side, who are looking to make finals this year too.
Absolutely. She's been an Ovens and Mo representative as well, and has performed really well for us in Melbourne and at Interleague. So huge congratulations to Em. She's a really lovely person, so it's great to see her achieve it.
And possibly if this gets close, the shift could come that we're used to seeing her in wing defence, but she's a really dominant circle defender as well. So that's another notch to the Roos bow that they could swing her in there. And we haven't seen a lot of it this season, but she'll be ruthless wherever she is.
Yeah, it won't surprise me. They've got Zali Spencer, who's home from holidays, university holidays. She played last week for them, and she played B grade earlier. She can slot into that wing defence position really easily to cover Em, who can go back. The challenge is probably going to be for Corowa in working out the shooters. The temptation will be to want to go 2-on-1 with Georgia Clark because she's so mobile and she does a lot of damage, but I don't think they're going to be able to afford to give Amy Byrne too much space because she's obviously doing damage in the games that she plays. But it will be interesting to see what role Sophie takes up, whether she does drop back to Georgia or whether they go 1-on-1 to start.
Well, if there's anyone that can do it, it's Sophie Hanrahan. She's also having a cracking season in the VNL, still playing Division 1, but if I'm a betting person, I'd be saying she'll be playing champ next year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, she's really enjoying it and that influence. And I actually can see that the Roos girls are supporting black armbands, which we mentioned at Myrtleford last week. So we may be able to get some... Tam, do you know who?
I can't remember, but I saw it on their socials during the week.
So
they were paying respect to someone from the community.
We'll bring that back later on. So, Hannah, our tips haven't been going great the last few weeks. So what are you up to?
Slowly building, Ree. I'm trying to edge you off. You're a few ahead of me. I think start of the season, I just got too carried away thinking I love an underdog and I'm always going to bet for the underdog. But now I'm thinking realistically I should stop doing that. So today I'm going for the Roos. Tipping for the Roos. I think it'll be a strong win. I'm thinking possibly an 8-goal margin. What are we thinking, ladies?
Oh, you go first, Tam.
Oh, hard one to pick. Oh, I'm going to go the underdog today. I think Wang have a bit to prove, and I think if there's ever a game they're going to win, I think today is going to be it. So I'm going to tip a close one, and I'm going to say Wang by 2.
And I'm going to go close as well, but I think I'm going to go Corowa, but I'm going to go 4. I think it's going to go down to the wire. I hope possibly that Wang come out firing, get a little bit of a lead, and I'm proven wrong, but we will soon see.
And we've just had information through. So the Corowa-Rutherglen Football Netball Club are wearing black armbands to honour a past player and coach, Ken Eales. So condolences to Ken's family, and thoughts obviously with everyone at Corowa who knew Ken.
So play is about to be underway. It is quite nippy. You can probably see some of the bench players from the Roos with the striking zebra print blankets. We love a bit of personality in the game, even if it's off the court.
Yes, and it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what the setup is here. There's a little bit of breeze blowing, so a couple of awry shots, but we can see the girls taking position. Jared had an umpire here coming over to the side of the court that we are on, handing the ball over to Brooke Bice. So first centre will be going in the way of the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos.
And we're underway for O&M Live Netball from McRae Motors. And Sophie Hanrahan already in the mix. And goes down to the newer members of the squad.
In the hands of Katie Dean, just getting a quick touch early, so good signs for the Maggies.
And there's Grace Senior and goal shooter. Slaps the hand of sister Chloe Senior. Their first goal for Corowa-Rutherglen.
Grady onto Byrne. Double plays back to Grady, back to Byrne, sister Izzy Byrne, so we'll have to make that, but the hands of Em Larissy, 150 games to her, and already nice little pickup for this game here, round 12 action.
And there's that quick transition straight into the hands of Grace Senior, and she is incredibly accurate. We've spoken about it almost every week. Not leading the hot shots somehow, but just the amount of shots that she puts up and her rebounding ability is what makes her so deadly.
And well done there, the Wang Magpies, just confusing the space for wing attack. Maddie O'Keefe putting the ball in, but just a second too late, and it dribbles over the baseline. So ball's in Katie Dean's hand, looking to transition as effectively as possible to Genevieve. All 3 defenders getting a touch there. Co-coach Crimmins onto Izzy Byrne, to Clark, and the Byrne sisters looking to team up for a pass there, but an offside call, contact call in the circle here against Sophie Hanrahan. So Amy Byrne for her first shot of action for the game, and it spills out, and the ball will be in Corowa-Rutherglen's hand just on the baseline here. Jen Barrett feeding off to Larissy, and that quick drive from Hanrahan, but a little bit of a decoy. Ball down to Bison. Within 2 passes, they are in their circle where they are so dominant. And the senior sisters pass to one another, and another goal from Grace Senior. So first quarter action here being brought to you by Cavalier Homes. We've got Corowa-Rutherglen leading 3-0.
And a look away pass there from Clark, but it goes astray and straight into the hands of Sophie Hanrahan, who is just deadly on all sides of the court. And she goes across to Larissy.
Those long arms of Soph just getting in the way of Byrne. I don't think she was ready for that ball to come in. It kind of went over her head a little bit, but an offensive contact there off the ball by Maddie O'Keefe. So Leah Genevieve doing the hard work there to get the positioning right. And she's, as always, so steady, bring this ball down in transition from defence to attack. But Izzy Byrne on to sister Amy Byrne. Tries to get Soph Hanrahan out of the way to give herself best option. Em Larissy, the height difference here could be interesting as the game continues. But Shay Crimmins. And we've got a contact call at the top of the circle there. So Amy Byrne looking to pass, steps in, and a great pass there into space in front of Clark. Her first goal for the game coming. So Wangaratta Magpies notching one back. We've got our 3-1 to the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos scoreboard action, thanks to the 777 Automotive.
And that is the turn and shoot from Grace Senior. I think she was about a foot inside the circle.
Oh, just always flirting with that circle edge. And that is actually the damage that she can do. So if for some reason her partner shooter is getting shut down, you just know that you can get it to her and she'll bomb it up like that, particularly. And if she's having a day like that, she's getting them in already. Look out, I say.
So the Magpies just getting a little flustered in their attacking third. The Roos defence is very intense, and Byrne not feeling too confident on the shot yet. Looks to pass off to Clark each time. And Clark under the post and secures the goal. So brings the Magpies up to 2, trailing by 2 on the 777 Automotive scoreboard.
And the ball in Grace Senior's hand. Great drive there from Chloe Senior, but well defended by Katie Dean. Just sticking a hand out, getting the tip on the ball for it to come back. But again, effortless shot there from Grace Senior. So 5 goals, plays 2 here at the John Ford Oval.
And Izzy Byrne fires into Clark, who'll take a mid-range shot. And a great finish from her. So again, it's going end to end here between the two sides. Corowa still leading 5-3 on the 777 Automotive scoreboard.
And you can see the pressure there Leah Genvy just put on Maddie O'Keefe. She had to do about 5 dodges, to actually then get the ball. But Leah Genvy probably was turned a little bit too far away around, so she couldn't then see where the ball was going. But that is exhausting for a wing attack and a wing defence. So watch this space for how that continues.
Well, you say exhausting, Ree, and they're probably 2 of the fittest teams in the competition as well. So interesting to see. They usually both play the 7 throughout the whole game.
How they work, that will be interesting. And we've seen a goaler-to-goaler pass there from Byrne to Clark, who notches another one. So 6 goals to Corowa, 4 goals to Wangaratta here on the 777 Automotive scoreboard.
Less than 10 minutes to play on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock. And the Magpies just trying to pull back momentum here. They're trailing by 2, and Sophie Hanrahan sweeps across the court, but it's not to be.
And clever play there, just out of the hands of Jen Barrett. But Amy Byrne just missing, but a great rebound from her, particularly. She's probably the shortest in that circle, and notching that with 2 hands. So she's on the board. First goal for her, and we have a 1-goal ball game here. 6 plays, 5 on the 777 Automotive scoreboard.
Grady fires into Byrne and to Izzy Byrne. And Larissey's fallen across offside, but no contacts called as Georgia Clark lines up for another shot over the hands of Barrett. She scores, so brings the Magpies back up to 6-all on the 777 Automotive scoreboard. And Tamara Matthews for Insight Injury Clinic, what are you seeing over on your side?
I think the change for Wangaratta the last 2 goals has been their transition. It's been a lot quicker and smoother into the goal circle, and it hasn't allowed Corowa time to set up their defence. When they give them that time and space, it's becoming very hard. But I think the rotation of Georgia and Amy is fantastic, and they need to keep that work rate up and keep moving, keep Sophie particularly busy outside the circle for as long as they can.
I think the umpire is going to be kept busy all day. There's lots of scrambling for ball, which is great. Shows that both teams want it. So for, again, the second time today, we've got an even ball game. 7 plays 7 here on the 777 Automotive scoreboard.
So Maddie O'Keefe goes to Senior. A little bounce pass between them and back over to Grace Senior and goal shooter for the Roos.
And I do like in there that all 4 players are very equally matched for height and things. So any rebound that comes will be hotly contested, and any ball coming in there will be for who can get up with two hands.
Izzy Byrne fakes the pass and into sister Amy. Goes across to Shay Crimmins. And another miss from Amy Byrne. So the movement is perfect, but the accuracy just not there yet.
Yeah, and I think that will come. Those balls will start to fall. But what I really like is that Amy and Georgia are rotating really well, and they're using that arc of the circle to their advantage. And again, there's that arc of the circle. Katie Dean coming forward, 2 hands. That is a 3D lanes highlight play of the day.
Byrne to Crimin, and Amy Byrne out again. So both shooters out of the circle, and Em Larissey just sweeps that one into her hands.
Oh, and well driven then from Grace Senior. From Grace Senior to the drive of Chloe Senior, who notches another one for Corowa. So quickly they're out to 2. 9 plays 7 here. First quarter action thanks to Cavalier Holmes.
Another offensive contact going against Grace Senior. Umpire sees the hips moving. Tamara Matthews for Inside Injury Clinic. What are you seeing down there between Grace and Katie Dean?
Yeah, look, Katie Dean's a really strong defender, and she does a lot of work on the body early and then sort of comes off to confuse the space. So, Grace is going to have a tough physical contest to work on her today, I think.
And there are a few tough physical contests coming out. We're seeing bodies kind of going everywhere, ball going everywhere. So it'll be down to this team that can really respond to that and stay up straight and nice and strong and stay in the contest. As we see Hannah Grady here on this transverse line, off to Izzy Byrne, a bit of a parallel pass. She looks back to Genvy, who always reliable on that transverse line. Clark shoots back to Genvy. Crimmins now looking to settle. Byrne into Clark. The hands of Hanrahan nearly getting in the way, but Clark looking a bit cool and calm there, but not ready for that rebound. And the Roos responding here, transitioning the ball in the hands of Hanrahan.
And that's one of the dangers of moving the ball around too much, is the fatigue by the time you get it into the shooter to sink and score that one. And as well, the defensive rebound pressure of Barrett and Hanrahan is going to be there every time.
And great work from the senior sisters there, both presenting front. Maddie O'Keefe had 2 options and Grace Senior finishing it off. So 10 goals here to the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos, to the Wangaratta Magpies 7. And we've got about 5 minutes to play on the Jacob Toyota Used Cars time clock.
Another stray pass from the Magpies. So just a few unforced errors from the side. They'll need to recoup because the Roos will run with this lead as far as they can.
The height mismatch for Corowa-Rutherglen through that mid-court enables Sophie Hanrahan to take that really, really long drive. So the Wangaratta are going to have to really combat that and put a bit of body pressure on, as we see Grace Senior take a beautiful pass right on the post and then sink it with a falling out of court shot. But she now throws away the ball on this next play, and Magpies transitioning again in the hands of Clark and Byrne, and probably the most space they've had coming into that circle so far. Well done to Amy Byrne there. Another settling goals for the Magpies, who have a centre in hand.
So Georgia Clark goes out again. She's trying to create space and she's done it. Just needs to work it back with Crimmins.
And the pass there from Amy Byrne, she didn't look confident to She was looking for Georgia Clark, who ball spills out in the hands of Sophie Hanrahan. So the Magpies with the opportunity here. Byrne looks to sister Izzy Byrne, holding strong on the circle against Brooke Bice. Quiet, both of them, but I think they're too busy working each other out, making each other really have to work for that positioning on the court. And Byrne offloads to Clark. Well within range and notching another one. So Magpies getting one back. 11 plays 9 here on the 777 automotive scoreboard.
Umpires called Leah Genvy for holding, so okay, straight into senior. Hands from Katie Dean and back into Grace Senior, who is accurate as always. So puts the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos, it's a tongue twister, up to 12 on the 777 automotive scoreboard with just a few minutes left on the Jacob Toyota Used Cars time clock.
And Tamara Matthews for Insight Injury Clinic. What are you thinking with a couple of minutes of this quarter to go?
Look, the work rate of Georgia and Amy, as you spoke about, is really high. I would be tempted if I was Cora to make a change in there and get M. Larissy in. I just think her elevation and that would be a real benefit to them. Corowa need to continue working it to the circle. A couple of times they've lost it. They've tried to force it from off the circle, and they did that a lot last week, fed from off the ring, and I don't think they'll get away with it today against Wangaratta, and you see their way, you've got to turn over and get the opportunity to move the ball now.
And that's the quality of the connection between Grady and Dean. They've been playing together in that circle for so long that they just know where each other's going to be, and they can really move well. So it will be interesting to see how that evolves as the game goes on, because they have got a couple of crucial tips during this game so far. And Hanrahan falling out of court there, passes into Barrett, keeps this ball alive for the Roos. See a little break in play. Crimmins notching up a contact. So Barrett onto Larissy. Hanrahan, Chloe Senior looking for Maddie O'Keefe, but well done by Genvy. She came off the player to look to go to Bice, but kept herself in the game and managed to get that beautiful intercept.
And Clark goes back out to Crimmins, so just reset here for the Magpies. And still struggling to hit inside that circle, but just as I say that, Georgia Clark, beautiful presentation just on that baseline, finishes off with a goal. So building the momentum for the Magpies here.
And I was about to say, what I like with the Magpies is that they're not trying to force the ball in. They're really trying to work hard to hit circle edge because they know that's where they're going to be best to get out of the hands of Hanrahan and Barrett. As Grace Senior notches up another quick goal there, but not without the defensive Leah Genvy. She is in everything and she's got springs under those feet, I'm sure.
I swear she's floating sometimes, the height she gets. And Jen Barrett, a great intercept, but I believe the contact's been called. So Georgia Clark from the Magpies takes a shot mid-range and she sinks it. So brings the Magpies to 11 on the 777 Automotive scoreboard, trailing by 2.
And only about 30 seconds to play here on the Jacob Toyota Used Cars time clock. And this has actually been quite a high-scoring first quarter, even though there's been so much defensive pressure. So kudos to both teams. We'll see if this continues. Maddie O'Keefe and Leah Genvy, this tussle here is exceptional, with Leah Genvy coming up with the goods this time. So Genvy on to Grady. They'll be looking to notch up a quick goal here going into quarter time, but the look-away pass wasn't quite timed effectively, and Hanrahan on the back pass. But Dean, a touch there, but Chloe Senior too good, pulling in the scraps, 2 hands and finishing a goal. So we have Corowa-Rutherglen Roos leading 14 to the Wang Magpies 11. Crimmins on her own, interestingly.
And that is the siren for the first quarter for Cavalier Homes. The Roos home side leading by 3, 14 to 11 on the 777 Automotive scoreboard. And we'll be right back after the break. This is O&M Live, and on O&M Live, you won't miss a thing.
Watching the game at home is good, but watching the game on the big screen with all your mates, all the atmosphere and the great food and beer is pretty hard to beat. And it's all here at the locker room at the SSNA.
0.0% alcohol. This changes everything.
Rewrite the rules. Carlton Zero. The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan Intelligent Mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Looking for somewhere great to eat? Check out Social Dining and Bar. And right now, you can get a seafood basket, served with chips, salad and tartare sauce from just $18. Come and be part of it all at Social Dining and Bar at the SSNA.
From entertainment to news and subscriptions in between. Manage select subscriptions in one place with Optus SubHub. Streamline your paid subscriptions and save up to 10%. It starts with yes.
Did someone say KFC?
I don't care. I love it.
Go where you can live and learn locally. Go where there's industry qualified trainers. Go where students come first. Go for the community. Go for the choice of 120 courses across 11 campuses. Go where there's free TAFE. Go for it with GoTAFE.
Adroit Insurance and Risk, your local insurance advisor, able to tailor insurance programs to support your business.
And we're proud to support our local community.
The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan Intelligent Mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Hi, I'm Kylie King. I first fell in love with this region as the Prime News sports presenter. Sometimes this feels like my second home. I love our historic towns and vibrant cities, our passion for sport, and of course the people who make it special. And now I get to share what's important in our region with Kev Polton. So join us, Kylie and Kev for breakfast, weekday mornings from 6 on 2AY and 3NE.
Welcome back to O&M Live. Round 12 action being brought to you from the John Ford Oval in Corowa-Rutherglen. It is a mouthful. I'm Ree Dullahenty, and today I'm joined by Hannah Davies. Second quarter action here. What have you thought of the first quarter?
Oh, what an intense game so far. No surprises that both teams just coming out so far, and you can see by the way they're playing as well. Bodies going everywhere, shooters going up to the line. It is serious business here. And we're underway now with the Roos taking the first centre pass. And already you can see that big clash in the air.
Contested possession. It's what we like to see, and all within the rules of the game. I think it'll be interesting if it's the contact or offside. The contact first. So Grace Senior, big long-range shot from her, but trickles out, but she'll be happy to take the shot again. So Katie Dean standing out of play. Hannah Davies, Hannah Grady there making a great stretch over the ball. So Corowa-Rutherglen getting us off onto scoreboard action here for the second quarter, thanks to Cavalier Homes. They're leading 15 to the Wang Magpies 11.
Tamara Matthews for Insight Injury Clinic. What did you hear in the first quarter break?
Yes, look, both teams still really upbeat. Wangaratta describe their game as quite erratic, and the coaches really just ask their players to take a breath, take some control and be calm when they have the ball in attack, and to go one-on-one defensively and just stop that drive of Corowa if there is a turnover in their attack. They have to defend hard. It's moving too quick. Corowa, on the other hand, a great get there by Katie Dean. Corowa, on the other hand, talks about using the reset. So maintain possession, not forcing the ball into the goal circle and using the line where they have to. So let's see if they can implement that. But a bit of tennis going on here at the moment.
Oh, and a great attack on the ball then by Katie Dean, and that's the damage that she can do coming off the ball, and that's reflective of the defensive pressure of the centre and wing defence as well. So Georgia Clark here teaming up with Crimmins into Amy Byrne. A bit of a contact there from Jen Barrett. Byrne opting to pass to Georgia Clark, and why not? She's on today, so another goal from her. So we've got a 2-goal ball game here. 15 plays 13 on the Cavalier Homes scoreboard.
And Byrne fires into Clark. Just moving around between Clark and Amy Byrne, and Clark takes a mid-range shot and scores, so puts the Wang Magpies one more on the scoreboard, only trailing by 1, 14 to 15 on the Cavalier Homes scoreboard.
And a great get there from Clark, although it will be close to see if she was flirting with the 3 seconds there. But someone that won't flirt with the 3 seconds is Grace Senior. She will just turn and shoot beautifully. So 2 goals here to Corowa, 16 plays Wangaratta 14.
And like I said before, you can see Grace Senior just going up and defending Hannah Grady. The ball's not even anywhere near her, but it's that pressure that she's putting on outside the play that will make the difference in this game.
Those little 1%ers as Clark, again, she's calm and collected as well down there, notching up another one. So 1 goal here. Second quarter action, thanks to 777 Automotive. Brooke Bice here with the centre, on to O'Keefe, who's been given the opportunity in the loss to injury of Liv Sinclair. She's come up from B grade and she's doing a really stellar job, and the competition between her and Leah Genvy here is electric today.
And it's one of the hardest lineups to break through, but she's doing it brilliantly as Grace Senior notches up another one.
Byrne to Crimmins. Crimmins, just a really quiet achiever there in that wing attack role, just goes about and does her job as needed, and she's really being effective when she gets to circle edge and making some great decisions. So Clark, with Hanrahan out of play, notches another goal there. So remaining in touch are Wangaratta. They're only down by 1, 17 plays 16 here, second quarter action, thanks to Cavalier Homes.
And Bice fires into Grace Senior, who is probably a step out of the circle but misses. So Katie Dean for the Magpies will take the throw in just next to the post.
And as you said, the Rutherglen Roos here just looking to get on that defensive effort. And as the ball trickled out, you could see Grace and Chloe really pointing to everyone to get into position to really defend the ball coming down. So they're really looking to stop the transition speed that we know that the Wangaratta Magpies can have. We've got about 10.5 minutes here to play on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock.
Amy Byrne a miss, but Sophie Hanrahan unusually out of play, and a miss again, but Georgia Clark claims the ball, but must have been offside.
I think maybe a contact call under the post there. So Maddie O'Keefe here transitioning beautifully onto mid-quarter in Bice, who, what a feed. The damage is done with a ball like that. And Tam Matthews, courtside for Insight Injury Clinic. How do you see the Roos shaping up this second quarter?
Well, they've certainly got confidence in bombing that ball in, but I tell you what, Katie Dean is just missing some of those passes. So be interesting to see as the game progresses whether she gets her fingers to those. But look, Wangaratta are just being really patient, and Amy and Georgia are, particularly Amy, is prepared to come forward every time and make that a clean pass. And I think, you know, the Corowa defence really need to work on shutting that down.
Oh, and a clever rebound there from Clark. I don't know how she didn't manage to fall forward, but she does, and she notches another one. Still one goal here. Corowa leading 18-17, but the ball speed there of the Roos. One pass, and it's in, and Katie Dean here's lost a shoe, so we'll just wait while she puts that on. It's given a little bit of comic relief back on the court.
It's probably the worst thing to happen on court is losing a shoe, because it is actually surprisingly hard and slow to put on a shoe under pressure when the umpire and the entire court is watching you like we are right now.
I wonder what the shoelace tying technique is there.
And do you double knot?
Yeah.
Do you have time to double knot?
Oh, and Senior just getting us back into play. So Corowa-Rutherglen leading by 2, 19 plays 17 on the Cavalier home scoreboard.
So the Magpies staying within this contest nicely, just taking their time to move the ball down. They don't have the same ball speed as the Roos, but if they can keep playing it around, O'Keefe just gets a hand on it.
And it's really interesting, probably seeing from this further distance in this quarter, is you really notice that height difference with Em Larissy in wing defence. It's really striking. Shay Crimmins and Izzy Burns are a lot shorter in that mid-court. So to have those arms through that goal third, as well, is really hard to combat, as we see Hanrahan coming up with the goods right under the post. Bice onto mid-quarter in O'Keefe, and heavy defence there from Grady, just really running side by side with Chloe Senior, but another pinpoint pass into sister Grace Senior and finishing with an easy goal for her. So Brooke Price putting forward the centre pass there for the Roos, but a little bit too preemptive, and the ball untouched. So Grady looks to Izzy Byrne, onto sister Amy Byrne, and back again. A lot of double plays between the sisters there. It's nice that we've got sets of sisters at both ends of the court today.
I know, it makes the competition all the more hard. As Crimmins passes in to Amy Byrne, she'll look out, wants to go to Clark, and they find her under the post.
And that feed is coming in beautifully. When it opens up like that, it's pinpoint to Georgia Clark, flirting with the baseline, but out in front of the stretched hands of Sophie Hanrahan, which we know can be so damaging. But Byrne looks back to Genvy, and she's nearly become a third mid-quarter with how much support she's giving on that transverse line, which is credit to the Magpies' patience.
And there she goes, another mid-range shot. So she's found her eye, brings the Magpies to 19, just trailing the Roos at 20 on the Cavalier home scoreboard. Halfway
through this second quarter action. Sorry, Hannah, you go.
You can hear the Roos just urging their players on to go, go, go. Ball trickles out, but Byrne with a contact. And they find Grace Senior under the post again.
Too easy for Grace there within that range, and she's someone that even if it trickled back, she'd be right onto that rebound. So I think the heads of the Magpies goal circle defenders then went, oh, that was one we should have really tried a bit harder for. But they come and just quick play by the Roos, and it's hard to combat that. But they reply, another goal to the Magpies. Corowa-Rutherglen here with the centre. Tam Matthews, we've had over half of this second quarter action. What are you seeing over there?
Wangaratta are just holding Cora up slightly those last couple of times they've transitioned it down, but they still cannot afford to give Grace any backspace. You can see how confidently she drops into that. And those balls are pinpoint inaccuracy. So interested to see whether Katie and Hannah change up what they start to do just to shut down Grace a bit more in that attacking end.
Sophie Hanrahan, what an intercept. A 3D Lanes highlight of the day as always.
And that was, I was about to say, that was really great from the Magpies there. Clark came out, but the reply from Izzy Byrne on the circle edge, I think her big toe must have been in the circle. So offside call, and the contact from Genvi just on the arm of O'Keefe, but Katie Dean coming around the body. That's a 3D Lanes highlight of the day. Byrne to sister Amy Byrne and Georgia Clark really moving Jen Barrett then out of the way, give herself best opportunity and finishing with a goal. So a great reply there from the Wang Magpies, but Corowa-Rutherglen in control here with the centre pass in the hands of Grace Senior coming out of that circle. Back from Baishi, Grace Senior's in ball again. They double play again, and they're happy just to keep playing it over. Oh, and Grady, she looked to come off the body, but...
And there she goes, sweeps it up. So the Magpies just timing their hunting so well, staying on the body, but when they sense even the slightest bit of disruption, they'll have a crack.
And credit to the defence then of Katie Dean and Hannah Grady. They really limited where the ball could go into Chloe Senior. So Grace Senior was trying to make that really good decision to not put it in and had to go cross court, which let Hannah Grady go flying. Though she didn't get her hand to the ball, it really put pressure on Brooke Bice. And here's another pressure pass. Sophie Hanrahan and Izzy Byrne colliding there. The contact call going against Izzy Byrne, who's back in defence. And you can just see the intensity from both teams has started to lift, Hannah.
Oh, it's incredible, and thank goodness Izzy Byrne's head only goes up to about Sophie Hanrahan's shoulder, because if they were head-to-head, that would have been probably a concussion.
And the pass there, finding the space in front of Chloe Senior, who finishes with the goal. So Corowa-Rutherglen leading 23, plays 21 on the Cavalier home scoreboard.
So Clark, she's out again. A lot of times where there's no shooter in the circle, but that's what Clark wants. She wants that late drive in where she can bring Jen Barrett out of the circle and drive in.
And she's pulled the contact there away from Jen Barrett, which is clever play from her. So they're one back, 23 plays 22. We've got just over 3 minutes to play here on the Jacob Toyota Used Cars time clock.
And the same from the Roos, just allowing each shooter lots of space. And there goes Grace Senior, another beautiful shot from long distance. She's helping keep the Roos 2 ahead, 24-22 on the Cavalier home scoreboard.
And great defensive pressure there from both Corowa defenders, but the ball going in the hands of Wang Magpies. A contact call from Sophie Hanrahan. So Clark, ever reliable under that ring. Notches another one. We're getting closer to half-time. Tam Matthews for Insight Injury Clinic. What are you thinking heading to this half-time?
I'll be very interested to see whether Cora would swap Chloe and Grace. Grace is doing a power of work. We're seeing all her tricks here. The fact that she can come out and move and play more of that GA role. That pass there didn't come off for them, but she's doing a power of work out. Georgie Bruce, the coach, just asking her to continue her work rate in and out, keep moving, keep driving back to the circle, come back out again. So whether or not they make the change, which they have been doing in a lot of games, and move Grace out, will be interesting to see this quarter.
Beautiful play there from Sophie Hanrahan, just gets the hand out.
And Byrne responding, Amy Byrne responding. And what I like is that the umpires at both ends are letting that contested possession play out, particularly if both players are going up nice and straight. We just see that from Hannah Grady there, trying to take the intercept from Grace Senior, who she doesn't, and she notches another goal for the Roos. But great umpiring as well to let that contested possession play out.
And at this level, Rhea, you can allow them to do that because they have the skills and they have the core strength to take those balls and have a crack, but not do it in a dangerous way.
Absolutely, and it's really great because it allows us for players to remain in plays. We see the Magpies then taking them 10 passes, but they're doing it patiently and with confidence. And Amy Byrne, that will be a real confidence getter for her, that goal there. So 1 goal ball game, getting ever so close to half time here with just over a minute left to play in this second quarter, thanks to Jacob Toyota Used Cars.
And Grace Senior somehow chases down that ball, but Hannah Grady comes out of nowhere to pick up another intercept for her team. And can Georgia Clark bring them to even before half-time? She can't.
And the contact there from Byrne on the hand of Barrett. So the Roos now looking to respond and get this ball back into their attacking third. And the hands of O'Keefe to Senior, Chloe Senior that is, to Bice, looking to bomb it in, and you can see her eyes just finding the hands of Grace Senior. There's a great connection really happening there. So quickly, the Roos again out to 26 plays 24 here on the Cavalier home scoreboard.
Sophie Hanrahan, she just comes out of nowhere, completely took out Amy Byrne, but what a clean intercept.
And that is as textbook as you will see that play. The swing across to the pocket by space in front of Senior, but Hannah Grady, goal defence plays goal defence here. Hanrahan versus Grady in terms of who can pick up the ball and really play, but these are just two people that just love their clubs and just want to notch the best win possible.
So can the Magpies shooters give Grady the goal that this team deserves right now?
Again, Magpies just happy to really play the ball around with patience, and we see a contact call there against Jen Barrett. So Amy Byrne here with the shot, top of the ring. The hands of Hanrahan again coming up with the scraps and teaming up with wing defence Em Larissy. She's really having a dominant performance for her 150th game. And there we have the siren for half-time here. So half-time at the John Ford Oval sees Corowa-Rutherglen taking a 3-goal lead into this half-time break. 27 plays the Wangaratta Magpies 24. And we will be back soon with the second half of this game, and if you are tuning in, you are listening to O&M Live, and on O&M Live you won't miss a thing.
Watching the game at home is good, but watching the game on the big screen with all your mates, all the atmosphere and the great food and beer is pretty hard to beat. And it's all here at the locker room at the SSNA.
0.0% alcohol. This changes everything.
Rewrite the rules. Carlton Zero. The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Looking for somewhere great to eat? Check out Social Dining and Bar. And right now, you can get a seafood basket, served with chips, salad and tartare sauce from just $18. Come and be part of it all at Social Dining and Bar at the SSNA.
From entertainment to news and subscriptions in between, manage select subscriptions in one place with Optus SubHub. Streamline your paid subscriptions and save up to 10%. It starts with yes.
Did someone say KFC?
I don't care. I love it.
Go where you can live and learn locally. Go where there's industry qualified trainers. Go where students come first. Go for the community. Go for the choice of 120 courses across 11 campuses. Go where there's free TAFE. Go for it with GoTAFE.
Adroit Insurance and Risk, your local insurance advisor, able to tailor insurance programs to support your business.
And we're proud to support our local community.
The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Hi, I'm Kylie King. I first fell in love with this region as the Prime News sports presenter. Sometimes this feels like my second home. I love our historic towns and vibrant cities, our passion for sport, and of course the people who make it special. And now I get to share what's important in our region with Kev Polton. So join us, Kylie and Kev for breakfast, weekday mornings from 6 on 2AY and 3NE.
Welcome back to O&M Live Netball from McRae Motors. We are here at John Ford Oval/Court in Corowa, where the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos are leading the Wangaratta Magpies by 3 in this third quarter for Martin's Travel Group Albury. Reid, do you expect the Roos to continue this lead, or do you think the Magpies can fight back?
I think the Magpies can fight back, and I think what they're doing really well is they're staying in the game and they're not letting Corowa get the run on and get too far ahead. Whether or not they can get back to even and then really notch up a lead will be really interesting. It doesn't look like at this stage either team is going to make any changes, so they're both confident to remain with the 7, and why not? It is really close, and I still don't feel like either team has shown that they're in full control. It seems like they get to start too, particularly probably Corowa, and then Wang just come in and they have a few real moments of brilliance. And towards the end of that second quarter, we really saw Hannah Grady for the Wang Magpies in goal defence, goal defence for the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos in Sophie Hanrahan, just trying to do all that they can for their team. So we see the players lining up for this third quarter. Izzy Byrne here for the Wang Magpies with the first centre pass, and we are underway for this third quarter thanks to Martin's Travel Group Albury.
Tamara Matthews for Insight Injury Clinic. You were over at the Magpies huddle. They're trailing. What did you hear?
They were really upbeat and positive, and they talked about continue to take a breath, enjoy it, relax. So they're feeling relaxed, they're feeling positive. Just watching this ball go in here, and Katie Dean gets a great intercept. Just talked a lot about trying to get out of the pockets. They, in attack, they are getting stuck a little bit deep, and they need to change that up. But like overall, very, very positive about the way that they've started. So.
Well done, and well done to Katie Dean there, getting the intercept right in front with 2 hands. And again, using this arc of the circle so well are the Maggies, waiting for that space to present. The hands of Hanrahan looking to have a hunt at the ball in front, and it falls for Clark. So we've got 1 goal ball game. Well done to the Wang Magpies, setting us off with the first 2 goals of this third quarter. 27 plays, 26 for Martin's Travel Group Albury.
And the Magpies just looking to get even again with the Roos. Byrne, she'll go out. It's signature of them today to look back and to play it around when they need to. They're not going to rush.
And if it comes down to it, and it is a 1-goal game, having this patience all game really cements when that rush and that rush of energy starts to come. But Clark, she won't want to miss too many of those, because we know that the defence of Hanrahan and Barrett is so lethal in there and getting those rebounds. So the Rutherglen girls now, Corowa-Rutherglen, sorry, on the attack here in the hands of O'Keefe, probably close to 3 seconds. Sees Grace Senior coming out of the circle. The one-on-one with Grady and Chloe Senior in that circle. And Chloe Senior now with the opportunity to take them ahead, but she chooses to pass to Sister Grace and finishing it off nicely with that goal. So Corowa-Rutherglen 28 plays Wang Magpies 26.
Grace Senior's out of the circle. Goes to Bryce.
And they play that transition so well, Chloe and Grace. They very much play similar, but what they did then well was that they just really smoothly transitioned who was that holding shooter. And credit to Dean and Grady. You can see them both there attacking that ball, and Genevieve running after the scraps. But I see we've got a contact call on the edge of the circle, offside actually. So Dean to Grady, they're partnering up again to Byrne. Back to Grady, cleverly defended there by Bice, but well done to Byrne. The contact call coming from Hanrahan, coming over the top of Amy Byrne there. So Hanrahan out of play in that third. Long bomb to Clark, back to Byrne at the top of the circle. She'll be happy with that ball there, and the quick flick back from Amy Byrne, sister to sister. And the scraps are found by Corowa, and that's probably an instance where there was 1 pass too many.
That's the danger of that passing around. If you're in control, it's brilliant, but when you've got Jen Barrett and Sophie Hanrahan in the circle, when you hit the circle, that's when you need to turn and shoot. And that's probably what Roos are leading, because they have a Grace Senior who will turn and shoot.
And a heavy hit of the deck there from Amy Byrne, just slipping under the hands of Jen Barrett. She puts the shot up and it really just rims out. They're the most annoying ones, I assume, as a shooter, but as a defender, they're enjoyable. So Sophie Hanrahan putting the Roos on the attack here in the hands of Bice. The contact between Byrne and Hanrahan through that mid-court is getting quite contested.
A big effort there from Hannah Grady, but just a millisecond too late. Puts her out of play. Grace Senior under the post, accurate as always. So it brings the Roos to a lead of 3 on the Martins Travel Group Albury scoreboard.
Nearly 5 minutes of action here played on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock, and we still only have a 3-goal ball game, so not much has changed between these two. But Byrne, she's really standing up strong, passing there to Clark, who well within her range gets an undefended shot under the post, but Jen Barrett getting fingertip in the road, but Magpies in possession here in the hands of Byrne on that baseline, looking to the top of the circle. Crimmins, she's nice and strong, puts that pass up to Byrne, and just one hand under that for those rebounds for Clark isn't going to cut it today. It needs to be 2 hands nice and strong.
Tamara Matthews for Insight Injury Clinic. The shooting accuracy is unfortunately lacking. Is this when you look to the bench, or is there another tactic you'd go to?
I think, as Reek said before, they're taking one pass too many, and I think they need to turn, look at the post, force the defenders to get off their body, take a defensive position, and then if they need to pass it out, do so they can get some clean ball. There's so many hands-on balls here, it's desperate. The next 5 minutes, it's really going to be interesting to see whether Magpies can stop this run or whether Corowa can put a bit of gap between it.
And Corowa just there getting another goal in the hands of Chloe Senior. So it's their centre pass here in the hands of Bice at the top of the circle into Grace Senior, who we expect to turn and shoot. But well done by Hannah Grady, just confusing the space in front. And coming up trumps is Katie Dean. So Magpies are on the attack again in the hands of Izzy Byrne. Back to Dean, back to Izzy Byrne, who's looking for someone to present forward. The great thing about the Magpies is they're tending to try not to go over if the ball is not there clearly.
So again, just happy to pass it back. They love to go back to that transverse line. Leah Genvy presents really nicely. This time Shay Crimmins will take it with a contact. So this is the moment they need to improve on, when they hit the circle. But there we go, the Hanrahan show again. Another ball to her name. And just a great team effort, though, from the Roos. It's not just Hanrahan, it's also Barrett and it's Larissy providing that support and giving that confidence.
And I think the work of Larissy is sometimes underrated and understated. She just really works tirelessly, and there's obviously that height mismatch in there as well. So she can get those long arms to ball around the hands of an Izzy Byrne or a Shay Crimmins, and they just reply so quickly. And we already see the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos now leading by 5, 31 plays, 26 here for Martins Travel Group Albury.
Crimmins does well to keep it in, and a beautiful pass into Clark. This is the settler they need. Clark scores, brings the Magpies back up to 27 to the Roos 31 on the Martins Travel Group Albury scoreboard.
Great option there from O'Keefe. She was just on the front foot and opted to bounce pass rather than pass, and back into Grace Senior, who I would be interested to see what her percentage is today. It would be sitting up around that 90-95%, I would think.
So Clark goes out, but just a little tip from Hanrahan. And again, like we said, the support from Barrett, who's just onto any loose ball instantly.
And what probably the Magpies are doing is that they're trying to pass into hands. So they really probably need to really use that fake and really get the players out of play, which sometimes is hard when you're a team looking to attack and really wanting to get that run on in play. But Grace Senior here replying again for the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos. So they're now out to 6, 33 plays, 27 with about 7 minutes to go here in this third quarter.
And a beautiful pass there from Grace Senior to Chloe Senior, who slots another one in. And again, we talk a lot about Grace Senior, but Chloe is one of those hard workers that just flies under the radar, makes minimal errors, if any, and is really reliable when you need those shots to go in.
And just playing her role, and I think that will be probably the difference today in these 1%ers is the people that, can play their role, and everyone's trying their best to do that. But someone like Chloe Senior, even then just pulling out of that drive to make sure that Grace Senior had all the space to see the ball in front of her. But well done to Hannah Grady there, maintaining her 3-foot distance to not be pulled for obstruction. But Grace Senior, she's on song today, 35 here to the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos, plays the Wangaratta Magpies 27. Third quarter action being brought to you by Martin's Travel Group Albury.
So a turnover here goes the way of the Wang Magpies. They need this goal to shift the momentum back in play. Tamara Matthews for Insight Injury Clinic, and the Magpies still in this contest.
Look, they are. They're getting very frustrated, though, and they just need to get some control again. You know, getting upset when the umpires call the game against them. So they need to get some composure. Amy Byrne is taking Sophie right out, and they're not recognising when Sophie's down the court and exploiting that. And they've had opportunities, I think, to get the ball in while Sophie's nowhere to be found. They haven't done that. So I think Amy needs to probably present a little bit more and keep the work rate up, and they need to make that transition a little bit quicker.
And there is reward for effort. So Amy Byrne then doing the hard work off the ball and the tussle there, the want for ball. There is no love lost between these two teams today as we see Shay Kimmins at the top of the circle, but the hands of Hanrahan contesting that ball, 2 hands mid-flight. So Jen Barrett on to Larissy. Tobias, who's been really steady in that centre position for the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos today. O'Keefe there taking an outstretched ball. Leah Genvy putting all the pressure on that she can. That tussle's been really exceptional today.
Just shows the depth of the Roos as well, the fact that they lose someone as strong as Liv Sinclair, and they're able to, effectively you do have to replace her. We like to say that no one's replaceable, but they have to be, and the depth of the B graders to do so has just been brilliant.
And there we have it. Tammy's mentioned that Sophie Hanrahan was brought out of play by the work of Amy Byrne, and that meant that there was the one-on-one there for Clark and Barrett, and the ball came in seamlessly, but the shot just couldn't come off. But the ball into Clark again, a little bit unbalanced. Byrne opting to go to Crimmins in the pocket, back to Izzy Byrne, into Clark, and there's a contact call just towards the top of the circle. So Clark shooting beautifully as well. So 8 goals here to Corowa-Rutherglen, 36 plays the Wang Magpies, 28. We have about less than 5 minutes, on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock. Will be interesting heading into this last quarter if either team make any changes.
And Grace Senior goes again for the Roos, brings them up to 37, to the Magpies 28. And the Magpies look back. Hannah Grady goes to Genvy and across to Crimmins. You can hear the call from the sideline. The supporters want the Magpies back in this game, and they can do it, but not when the ball's in the hand of Sophie Hanrahan.
And a quick transition. Well done from Leah Genvy. She can just really read that ball in the air. But the Roos, when they transition that ball, they're finding a lot of space on that court and really congesting the Magpies in that reply. And Chloe Senior, she's really got her eye in as well in that goal attack position. And we have a 10-goal ball game here. But Hannah Dean, Grady, putting her and Katie's names together. She's been exceptional in goal defence and really taking that two-handed intercept to 3D lanes highlight of the day.
And Byrne goes into Clark, who looks a little dejected, Ree. I think the calls are not quite going her way, and whether that's, right or wrong, she needs to just switch on and find somewhere and dig, and hopefully Amy Byrne can help support that.
And this is one of those things as well, though. We can't wait for the umpire's whistle either, so you have to play and adjust to that. And, yeah, it is hard if you're frustrated, but taking a breath, getting past that will be crucial. And here she goes. Crimmins to Clark. She's got the opportunity, but it just bounces out. And Hanrahan, two-handed rebound there, uncontested. O'Keefe transitioning the ball to Chloe Seniors, and there's a contact call outside the circle. The umpire just setting the penalty. Chloe Senior with ball in hand. shot from her is successful. So we now have 11 goals to the Corowa-Rutherglen 39. They are leading the Wangaratta Magpies 28 with only a couple of minutes left here on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock. Be interesting to see Tam Matthews for Insight Injury Clinic. What do you think needs to happen heading into this fourth quarter?
I just wonder whether they need to look at even switching the shooters. Amy, whether or not she's fatiguing or not. And the other thing that Sophie's doing, once the ball gets deep, she's picking up Georgia. So I wonder whether they would consider a swap there, get a bit more height down the court, and if Amy's feeling a bit fatigued, some fresher legs out into goal attack. But they need to keep attacking and they need to maintain composure and not that they look like they're waiting for some umpires' calls.
They certainly are. So the Magpies just struggling to find clean hands. You're exactly right, Tamara. Sophie Hanrahan is dominating over Clark right now. So a good rebound, though, from Clark. And finally, a little settler for the Magpies. So they've proved that they can stay in this, but 10 goals, is it too much in one quarter to come back?
Oh, look, we've seen it before. We've seen Yarra come back from 7 in one quarter, but with the way the game's ebbing and flowing, it will be interesting whether they can nudge this margin. But they're doing the work that they need to try and do that. As we see Grace Senior, it looked like it was going to pop out, but it didn't. She's just hunched over, maybe copped a little elbow there. But Byrne to Genvy, who could nearly look like a Byrne sister. Amy Byrne into Izzy Byrne here. And better than from Izzy Byrne, really using the fake to get Sophie Hanrahan out of position and really try and take that ball. So Georgia Clark, clever there, front position in front of Barrett and shooting. So we've got an 8-goal ball game here, a 10-goal ball game, 40 plays 30 on the Martins Travel Group Albury scoreboard.
The other thing to consider is that Georgia Clark was actually recruited as a goal attack. So we obviously know Amanda Mansky was supposed to be in goal shooter. So do we switch her out to where she's more comfortable in goal attack? We'll have to find out in the fourth quarter, because that is the hooter for the three-quarter time break. And the Roos are leading by 10 to Wangaratta's 30 on the Martins Travel Group Albury scoreboard. And after the break, we'll be back with the fourth quarter. This is O&M Live, and on O&M Live, you won't miss a thing.
Watching the game at home is good, but watching the game on the big screen with all your mates, all the atmosphere and the great food and beer is pretty hard to beat. And it's all here at the locker room at the SSNA.
0.0% alcohol. This changes everything.
Rewrite the rules. Carlton Zero. The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Looking for somewhere great to eat? Check out Social Dining and Bar. And right now, you can get a seafood basket, served with chips, salad and tartare sauce from just $18. Come and be part of it all at Social Dining and Bar at the SSNA.
From entertainment to news and subscriptions in between. Manage select subscriptions in one place with Optus SubHub. Streamline your paid subscriptions and save up to 10%. It starts with yes.
Did someone say KFC?
I don't care. I love it.
Go where you can live and learn locally. Go where there's industry qualified trainers. Go where students come first. Go for the community. Go for the choice of 120 courses across 11 campuses. Go where there's free TAFE. Go for it with GoTAFE.
Adroit Insurance and Risk, your local insurance advisor, able to tailor insurance programs to support your business.
And we're proud to support our local community.
Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Hi, I'm Kylie King. I first fell in love with this region as the Prime News sports presenter. Sometimes this feels like my second home. I love our historic towns and vibrant cities, our passion for sport, and of course the people who make it special. And now I get to share what's important in our region with Kev Polton. So join us, Kylie and Kev for breakfast, weekday mornings from 6 on 2AY and 3NE.
And welcome back to the fourth quarter action here being brought to you for the Insight Injury Clinic. We are at John Ford Oval seeing first place Corowa-Rutherglen leading by 10 goals to the Wangaratta Magpies 40. Plays 30 here. Izzy Byrne getting us underway for the Magpies, and they've got a big job ahead in this fourth quarter to rectify this 10-goal lead. Tam Matthews, what did you hear during that three-quarter break?
So Wang Magpies have made it a change. They've put Georgia Clark out to goal attack, and Rochelle Petts has come into goal shooter, and talked about clean balls in. So eyes up from the shooters, wait for the ball to come in cleanly, but to keep attacking. Corowa talked a lot about trying to, although they were very pleased with their defensive efforts, they that quarter wanted to stop the Wang feeders getting in the pockets. They felt that's where they were doing the damage, and they wanted to force them to the top. Felt like their defenders would get more opportunity at balls if they were coming in from the top, which is what they did. So Corowa really pleased. Wang still talking up their chances and obviously putting a lot of faith in Shell to come on, and Georgia Clark having a run-out goal attack like we suspected she might do.
And we saw the impact that Georgia Clark could have in that goal attack role down in Yarrawonga a few weeks ago. They made that change, but Chloe Senior here getting us, looking to kick us off with the first goal, but it misses. But Grace Senior, ever trusty under that ring, and the first goal for this fourth quarter goes in Grace Senior's hands. So 41 plays 30 here on the X-Ray Group scoreboard.
And just a really smart rebound there from Grace Senior, just the positioning and the quick speed to get to the complete other side of the circle. And even now, you know, the Roos just providing that support to their players that even if they do miss, every player is going for that rebound.
And she's just in the zone today. When she turns and shoots like that, that's just confidence, and it is beautiful. We've spoken, I've mentioned before just how beautiful her shooting style is, and yeah, something that I'm sure a lot of junior shooters could probably look to. As we see Georgia Clark, it just skims out again down that end, so they can't really catch a break here. The Wang Magpies looking to defend the Roos, but Soph Hanrahan, she's been crucial bringing this ball down the court. But Shay Crimmins coming off the ball there and just doing all she can, but runs out of legs. So Corowa-Rutherglen now with the ball in the hands of Jen Barrett deep in their defensive third.
So she fires across to M. Larissy. Straight down to O'Keefe, and Chloe Senior comes out. A contact against Hannah Grady makes this all that bit easier for the Senior sisters in that circle, and what a pass down from Bice to Grace Senior.
That was a really bomb of a pass, and what I like about Brooke Bice is she's looking up and she's really making sure that the ball is going away from defenders' hands, but also cleanly from her hands. As we see Grace Senior coming out, but a bit of confusion there from Katie Dean. I think she was hoping that the baseline was that half a centimetre closer, but replica play here. So Katie Dean here on to Izzy Burns straight through the top, and there's a nice long pass down to Georgia Clark. So within 3 passes, they're into their attacking third, but the defensive pressure all over from every single Roos girl is really phenomenal today.
And Hannah Grady just pulling out all the stops for her side today. She has absolutely kept them in the game.
The defence, and we speak about it a lot, but the defence work rate between her and Katie Dean is really exceptional, as is the defence work rate of Sophie Hanrahan and Jen Barrett, as is the work rate of all our mid-quarters. So I think we're going to have a job in our hands choosing our Urban Greys player of the day. And Chloe Senior here in possession at the transverse line, gives to Bice. Dean comes hunting. Opts not to really give it a crack though. So Hanrahan, Grace Senior there, well within range, but opts for a miss, just to give her sister Chloe into the action.
I'm sure they'll appreciate that word, Ingrid. You've got to say that when Grace Senior's missing, surely it's intentional because she is so accurate.
Yep, and look, we've got a 14-goal ball game here already, so that's the damage that the Roos can do. Just quickly going about these shots, and now Crimmins into Pet, so she's going to have another go here and just skims out again. So the Magpies are really going to have to pull something out in the next few minutes to really make some damage in this deficit.
And Hannah Grady again, just beautiful timing to put herself in the line of the pass, and an incredible quick transition for the Magpies. They're already into Pets. And Byrne finds Pets again. She lines up. And a beautiful shot from her, first of the quarter.
You can see her take a big deep breath after that. Nice settle to get her into this action. So 44 to Corowa-Rutherglen, leading the Wangaratta Magpies 31. About 10 minutes left here to play in this fourth quarter, thanks to the X-Ray Group.
And a beautiful hold there from Grace Senior. Notches number 45 for the Roos to the Magpies 31 on the X-Ray Group scoreboard.
And the drive of Georgia Clark's opening up a bit of space in there for Pets in the circle, but still the defensive work of the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos is just making it really hard for the Maggies to see just those long arms are getting in the way. But Clark, she's been really settled all day, and her accuracy has been pretty on song. So 45 to the Roos here, leading the Magpies 32. Fourth quarter action thanks to the Insight Injury Clinic.
So a throw-in from Katie Dean just goes to Hannah Grady to Byrne. And again, just that signature play of moving it around, but not finding Shay Crimmins that occasion. So Em Larissy will throw in for the Roos.
The defensive pressure there from Pets, she's really come on wanting to make that impact and wanting to make that difference to this deficit. But O'Keefe, again, finding that space under the ring for Grace Senior to finish it off. So 14 goals still here to the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos with less than 10 minutes to play.
Fires over to Byrne. The Magpies work it into Pets, who goes to Clark. Dominant shooter for the Magpies today, but just hits the top of the circle and goes straight into the hands of Sophie Hanrahan.
And Hanrahan, obviously a front runner for our Urban Greys player of the day. I think any one of the Roos girls really could be a contender, but she's been so accurate in that defence. And another big contender is Grace Senior in that goal shooting bib. But Dean and Grady, I don't know how they missed that one, and you heard the crowd go, oh, it was just pinpoint accurate passing again from the Roos. Tamara Matthews for Insight Injury Clinic. How do you see the rest of this fourth quarter playing out?
I think the Roos clearly have the momentum here, and Wang really need to push themselves here, because I think, you know, they were in it at half time and they let themselves down that quarter. But look, I just had a look at the stats at three-quarter time, and Chloe Senior's sitting on 100% and Grace had only missed 3. So that's the difference, you know, if in these sorts of games, when you're playing top sides, if you're not shooting at a high percentage, teams will make you pay, and that's what Corowa did that last quarter. They just converted very quickly, and all of a sudden there was 10 goals in it.
Clark, her percentage must be up there. That was another beautiful, that was a really long range goal from her here. But we now see a 15-goal lead to the Roos. 48 plays the Wang Magpies 33. We've got about 7.5 minutes here to play in this fourth quarter, thanks to the X-Ray Group.
Grace Senior, another miss, so percentage near 100 now. And the Magpies have the opportunity to put another one on the board and bring something positive from this fourth quarter.
And Clark just getting stuck out there. Sophie Hanrahan really pushed her high, and she had trouble getting the space to get back into the circle. But Em Larissy, 150th game looking to get that ball, but just a little bit too close deemed by the umpire. So Rochelle Pets now shooting this ball and converting. So we're back to a 14-goal ball game. Izzy Byrne from the Magpies with the centre pass goes to Clark, back to Byrne, to Crimmins. Barrett is out hunting, but Rochelle Petts looks for that beautiful drive, but Hanrahan just coming off the ball beautifully to find that two-handed intercept nice and clean.
And she'll go down to Chloe Senior, who pulls the ball in. And that's the connection straight into Grace Senior. Turns, shoots. She misses, but the Roos get the throw in. Hannah Grady puts the hand out, just can't pull it in.
Chloe Senior here looking to sister Grace Senior, catching the defenders with their eyes down, and another goal for her. So the Roos stretching it back out to 15. Bice with the centre onto Chloe Senior, out to sister Grace Senior, and there's a lot of traffic coming to the top of that circle. Maddie O'Keefe, though, coming up with the ball with a contact call from wing defence Leah Genvy. So Grace Senior passing into sister Chloe Senior, who keeps her 100% record on track there. And we've got a time call here from the umpire, Tam Matthews, for Insight Injury Clinic. Do you have any idea what the time call is there for?
Yeah, Chloe's just indicating she's finding hard to breathe. So I don't know if she copped a knock or what's happened there, but a change up here.
The Magpies back with the ball, and probably a good opportunity to get some fresh legs out if someone's not feeling 100%. They've got the lead by 16 now, 50 plays 34. Rochelle Petts, just that goal falling short. So the Roos looking to attack and transition this ball effectively. Barrett back to Hanrahan. Larissy in her 150th game. She's been strong all day. To O'Keefe, who's really stood up to the pressure of Leah Genvy. That's been a really exceptional tussle all day, Hannah.
It has been. She's a little pocket rocket, and her connection with Grace Senior, and now a new shooter on court is what makes her just so integral to this new lineup.
The Roos with possession deep in the pocket. An obstruction call on the edge of the circle. So Grace Senior presenting, arm up, looking for that ball, passing off to our goal attack, which Tam Matthews for Insight Injury Clinic, who has taken the court here for the Roos.
So Cora brought on Imogen Taylor into goal attack.
Beautiful, and I'm assuming probably a B grader, her and Maddie O'Keefe have linked up in that wing attack, goal attack role before.
Lost connection there, it seems. Not to worry. Down the shooting end for the Magpies, Shell Petts lines up, but not feeling confident. And they get the ball back to Georgia Clark, who scores under the post there. Bringing the margin now to 15, 50 to 35 on the X-Ray Group scoreboard.
And a breaking call on that centre pass, something that the Magpies really can't afford. What they'll want to do in these last few minutes is to just make sure this margin doesn't get any further ahead. Imogen Taylor, with the ball, passes to Senior, turns, but a great rebound from that missed shot and the damage again in her hands. So 16 goals here, 51 plays, 35, with about 3 minutes to go on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock.
Byrne goes to Clark, to Crimmins, and Byrne, top of the circle, fires into Petts. A great pass there, dodges the hands of Hanrahan, and they finish with a goal, so brings the Magpies back up to 36. Still trailing to the Rutherglen 51, but Katie Dean just continuing a really strong performance today.
And a messy, probably a scrappy transition from the Magpies. I hope they don't mind me saying that, but it kind of just tipped on, but they've made it work. They've gotten it down into their goal circle, and Petts here with the opportunity to bring one back on this margin. She lines up and shoots beautifully. So 15 goals here. 51 plays 37. Our fourth quarter action being brought to you by Insight Injury Clinic.
And another beautiful baseline drive from Petts, but
foot out of court, I think. But what she's finding is a lot of space on that baseline. So that's really confident signs there from the Magpies late in this fourth quarter. Hannah Grady, though, for the visitors, has probably been a really great contender for the Urban Greys Player of the Day.
Absolutely, Ree. She's one of those players that week in, week out plays just a really consistent game. Regardless of the scoreline, Hannah Grady is getting ball in hand, and she's supported really beautifully by Katie Dean in the goalkeeper.
And we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Leah Genby there. The work that the three of them do in that defensive line, offset with the work rate of Izzy Byrne in centre, really is exceptional. So although they're coming off on the losing side today, the work rate's really been there.
And Hanrahan, as always, helping out the side, feeds to Taylor, who just passes astray into Katie Dean, a new connection.
Magpies will be looking just to get a couple back in these last few minutes here, but Hanrahan doing her best to stop that from happening. And Katie Dean, she will never let this go until the final whistle is blown. And Clark, she's way out here, but she's going to attempt anyway. And why not? There is a beautiful, can we call that a 2-pointer?
I kind of want to give it 3 points though, because it was that far out. She was barely in the circle.
And nice to see our shooters, confident enough to put those shots up. And the pass there from Bice, pinpoint again. Grace Senior, though, looking phenomenal in this shooting role. However, commentator's curse, she misses again, but gets her own rebound and sinks it. So 52 here to the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos, plays the Wang Magpies 37, and we've got less than 30 seconds here to play on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock.
And you're right, Ree Dolhenty called that well. So that is the end of this matchup. The Roos taking out the Magpies 51-37. The first quarter, Ree, started really close, but you wouldn't really know in that fourth quarter. The Roos dominated.
They did, and they really shut down any hope the Magpies had of really bridging this margin, and that defensive effort throughout all 7 players on the court was exceptional. The Magpies just kept really fighting. Credit to them, they didn't let the margin blow out as far as it could. However, I think they'll be disappointed, particularly with where they were coming in at halftime in that really close. And Tam Matthews for Insight Injury Clinic has our player of the game for today for Urban Grace, who is Grace Senior. Exceptional shooting from Grace today. Congratulations, Grace. Urban Grace Player of the Day.
Yeah, thank you. It was a good game by the Corowa girls, and we really pushed for that win. So congratulate the girls, and congratulations to Em for her 150th game. And yeah, it was a good game.
Grace, you had an exceptional game, and accuracy is incredible, but also your rebounding ability.
Those screens to allow her to run top and then me drop base. Yeah, it's really good.
And talking about the strength of your bench, and obviously, you know, Liv Sinclair becoming injured and having to replace her, how impressed have you been with a Brooke Bryce and a Maddie O'Keefe just coming into the side and proving that you're still so far unbeatable?
Yeah, Mads has really pushed her skills and has really come up and played an amazing game, and she's slotted in really nicely to the A grade. She's been training really well with us, and yeah, congratulations to her for coming up and getting that A grade position in wing attack. Yeah.
And Grace, in a few weeks' time, you'll be on the same team as a Hannah Grady. You know whenever you come up against Han and Katie, it's going to be tough. How was it today? I know you were doing a lot of work outside the circle. I thought at one stage you might swing to goal attack, but you stayed back. Is that something that you sort of keep up your sleeve, that you can go out if you need to? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. Chloe and I like to switch sometimes, depending on what Georgie wants. And I do like having a running goal attack. I could say I get a little bit bored in goal shooter, but coming out in goal attack is a good little freshen up for me. Yeah.
Doesn't look boring, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's not.
Very exciting.
It is exciting. I get really jumpy when I'm in goal attack, but.
And obviously Corowa sitting pretty on top of that ladder. What's the feeling like within the camp of the whole club in this second half of the season heading towards finals?
So we're just going to keep pushing hard, and we can't become complacent, especially at the second half of the season. The other teams will be feeling the same, and we just need to take every game as it comes and try and push as many goals in and get ahead.
Beautiful. Well, Grace Senior, our Urban Greys Player of the Day, we will get your award to you soon, but congratulations and congratulations to the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos on a great win today.
Awesome. Thank you, girls. See ya.
Well done, Grace.
Grace Senior, always good to have her on the show, and what an incredible performance from her today. She is so consistent, and you can see the smile on her face and how much she enjoys, particularly playing with her sister Chloe. I love the comment of, yeah, we're pretty close, you know, we're sisters.
It's interesting though, I have seen them give each other the eyeball a couple of times on court as well. So no, it's great to see, and I think why not smile with a win like that? Particularly, it was close at half-time, and I think the Wang Magpies, credit to them, they really pushed it for that first half, but just couldn't find the pace to get the distance. So it will be interesting now how they look at that, take that first half, and then use that to build into this second half of the season.
Yeah, I think they showed plenty of positivity today, and they were really backing themselves as a team. They stayed positive at the huddles, but we just saw that lapse, that 10-minute lapse of concentration and what a Corowa can do. And I think the other thing they would be disappointed with, and they did acknowledge, was their frustration at the calls. And they did talk at that last break about, you know what, the calls aren't going to come our way. We can't wait for it. We need to be in a position where the umpire can see or we're getting clean balls. So, I think there's a few things there that they will go back and look at and work on, particularly going into finals. But they ran it out. They finished it off, which they have to do because they're going to come up against some good opposition come finals time, and they need that practice at playing at a high intensity.
And nice to see Rochelle Petts get a nod to have a go there on the A grade court. We've seen her there before in previous seasons. She's been stellar in their B grade lineup. So confidence for them there, and interesting whether or not they had made that change at halftime just to change it up, let Amy Byrne have a look at what's happening, brought her back on. That's something that they could look to. But I think credit to their defenders as well. I think Hannah Grady, Katie Dean, Leah Genvy, Izzy Byrne, there was a lot more drive from her today. She was a lot, not as quiet as previous when we've seen her, but I think the defensive effort of them really kept them in the game. But Corowa-Rutherglen, we can't remiss on just, they were pinpoint accurate with passing today.
And they're sitting so comfortably at the top of the ladder. It has to beg the question, can anyone beat them? And who is it going to be? Ree, I kind of almost know your answer. You're sensing that the Pigeons, Yarrawonga, are just building and building, and they could be the ones to knock them off.
I think so, and I think for the Corowa-Rutherglen, it's great to go through a season undefeated, but it becomes very hard come finals, okay? And they're the hunted now, so I think, yes, I'm going to say the Pigeons. I still think they've got their best to come. I still think they've got a lot of depth there, and I still think they're playing with a few switches and a few positions and things like that. So I think when we get to see Corowa-Rutherglen play Yarrawonga, watch this space. I think it will be a battle.
The other game that will be a really interesting game is when Lavington come up against them, because they played each other, I think it was first round of the year, and I know Lavington were without a couple of players that game. So it's going to be a very different side this time, and there wasn't much in that game in the margin. So I think that's probably another one to watch. If I was Corowa's coach, I'd be wanting a few tight games heading into finals. As Ree said, it's pretty tough to get there and not have been too contested. So I think some tight games like this, they'd be really happy with the way they came out in that third quarter, given that Wang were hot on their heels, and they're going to want a few of those before they hit September.
Yeah, and I think the likes of Sophie Hanrahan and Jen Barrett, they're really finding their straps in that defensive circle. We saw Jen Barrett have a crack at a few balls out of the circle, which is great. But again, Maddie O'Keefe, she stood up really strong there in wing attack today. I really loved watching her and Leah Genvy compete and contest, and Brooke Bice as well. Her connection to Grace Senior and Chloe Senior was really phenomenal. It was really nice to see her make that eye connection and just give the ball off.
Yeah, that comes from having played with them before too. She's familiar with them. So they're really lucky that they can bring her back in, and she knows the players and she knows their structures. It's interesting you talk about the tussle between Maddie O'Keefe and Leah Genvy. There was a lot of discussion in both camps at the breaks around that. A lot of direction given to Maddie about how she can get away from Leah and work off that. Corowa felt that she was being forced, sideways and doing a bit of dancing. So they talked to her about getting on the body and utilising that to come into the open space. And then I heard Leah talking, about her frustration. So it was really interesting to hear that was sort of, I guess, a key matchup for both teams.
And interesting, if we look to next week, North Albury obviously coming up against Albury today. We've touched on how important that is for both teams. Wang Magpies and North Albury play each other next week. So depending on how that game goes today, North Albury obviously toppled Wang Magpies last time that they met, and quite convincingly. So very, very interesting looking to round 13.
Well, ladies, plenty more action to come this season. And, of course, it is round 12, Indigenous round. So if you are listening to the netball, make sure you stay on and listen to the footy after this, because there's a lot more incredible action to happen. But, yes, that brings us to the end of our broadcast today. My name's Hannah Davies, and I'm joined, as always, by Ree Dolahenty.
Thanks, Han. Thanks, Tam. And we look to next week.
Can't wait.
Thanks, ladies. This is O&M Live, and on O&M Live, you won't miss a thing.
Watching the game at home is good, but watching the game on the big screen with all your mates, all the atmosphere and the great food and beer is pretty hard to beat. And it's all here at the locker room at the SSNA.
0.0% alcohol. This changes everything.
Rewrite the rules. Carlton Zero. The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Looking for somewhere great to eat? Check out Social Dining and Bar. And right now, you can get a seafood basket, served with chips, salad and tartare sauce from just $18. Come and be part of it all at Social Dining and Bar at the SSNA.
From entertainment to news and subscriptions in between, manage select subscriptions in one place with Optus SubHub. Streamline your paid subscriptions and save up to 10%. It starts with yes.
Did someone say KFC?
I don't care. I love it.
Go where you can live and learn locally. Go where there's industry qualified trainers. Go where students come first. Go for the community. Go for the choice of 120 courses across 11 campuses. Go where there's free TAFE. Go for it with GoTAFE.
Adroit Insurance and Risk, your local insurance advisor, able to tailor insurance programs to support your business.
And we're proud to support our local community.
The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Hi, I'm Kylie King. I first fell in love with this region as the Prime News sports presenter. Sometimes this feels like my second home. I love our historic towns and vibrant cities, our passion for sport, and of course the people who make it special. And now I get to share what's important in our region with Kev Polton. So join us, Kylie and Kev for breakfast, weekday mornings from 6 on 2AY and 3NE.